What's up, positive bitches? How are we doing today? If you're hearing this episode, you are meant to be here, so keep listening. On that Bitches Positive podcast, sometimes we will laugh, other times, baby girl, we're gonna cry. But we will always walk away from this podcast feeling like our most positive bitch self. That is babe in true connection with herself. That's right. On this podcast, we unbecome who we are not so we can fully embody and step into exactly who we incarnated to be. Today's podcast, we are talking about how to master the art of being unbothered. And let me just tell you, when you master the art of being unbothered, your enemies, frenemies, haters become very, very, very bothered. It's a funny little game I like to play called I Win Every Single Time because I place myself on my own pedestal. I'm not kidding you, mastered the art of being unbothered, and I cannot gatekeep any longer, which is why we are talking about this art today. Because let me just tell you, baby girl, it is an art. It is an art to master. But once you master this art, no one will have control over you. No one will be able to try to manipulate you because you have already mastered the art of being unbothered. I'm going to take you through 5 steps of different techniques you can anchor in, actionable steps you can take today, tomorrow, and every day for the rest of your life. I'm going to give you 5 steps that will have you on your pedestal, mastering the art of being unbothered. You are going to be the Monet, the Beethoven of being unbothered. Hello, hello, hello. And you'll be thanking me for this one. But, of course, before we get into it, a couple of announcements. You know I cannot go on any further without talking about Magic Mind. Jazz hands. I literally took a Magic Mind before recording this episode, so I have an extra pep in my step today, and I'm feeling good. Before Magic Mind, I was slumming it in the pre-workouts of the streets. I was having these pre-workouts, I cannot even believe that's what they call them, selves, because they would have me having the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. My energy was everywhere. And don't even get me started on the hormonal acne that these pre-workouts caused me. I started to take Magic Mind, which is truly magic in a little bottle, because it gave me that little extra pep in my step without fully pushing me off of a cliff and sending me into a spiral. I'm just not about that life. Magic Mind allows me to flow with my authentic energy rather than giving me these crazy highs and lows. And it also keeps my skin clear as day, which I am just totally loving. Even my naturopathic doctor gave me the okay with Magic Mind. The reason and the true magic in Magic Mind, the reason why it works, I truly believe comes down to its ingredients. It has matcha, which has way less caffeine than other coffee and pre-workouts. It also has ashwagandha, which reduces stress and anxiety, and lion's mane mushroom, again, reduces anxiety and inflammation. I cannot recommend Magic Mind enough. If you want an extra boost of energy, but you want to feel like yourself, Magic Mind is your magic awaiting to unfold in your life. You can get a special discount code if you go to www.magicmind.com/positive, and you can get up to 50% off your subscription for the next 10 days with my code positive. Your code will be valid forever as a 20% off for both one-time purchases and subscriptions, but in the first 10 days, it's up to 50% off if applied to a subscription. Again, that's www.magicmind.com/positive and get up to 50% off your subscription for the next 10 days with my code positive. If you're not yet following me on Instagram at Vibin with CC, sis, what are you doing? Because I give you daily tips and tricks on how to align with your most magnetic self, how to step into your divine feminine energy, and so much more. If you're going through a breakup, join the 21-day Breakup Glow Up Challenge to call your power back, to put yourself back on the pedestal, and of course, glow up. If you want more information on the subtle energies when it comes to dating, you can get the Calling Your Power Back workbook. And if you want to anchor in your divine feminine energy, you can get a 60-page workbook. All of these links will be in my bio from the Healing Divine Feminine workbook. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode because I have some tea to spill on how to live unbothered. Let's get into it. I'm going to give you 5 steps. Now, I even tested out these steps this weekend because I was with a very special person who in the past has really gotten on my nerves, and I just don't have any more nerves to give out. So instead, I applied these 5 steps. How can we live unbothered? I understand. There are coworkers, there's family members, there are people that whether we like it or not, we're going to have to be around them. And if we cannot change them, well, we have to change ourselves. Because let's think about it. What do we really have control over? Do we have control over the Chads and the Brads of the world, or do we have control over ourselves? I don't know about you, but I much rather try to control myself than the Chads and the Brads of the world. We can lead a horse to water, but we can't make it drink. However, we can inspire people to bother us less. And that's what we're going to talk about today. How to change ourselves and inspire simultaneously people to get the fuck out of our way. It is truly an art, truly a magic. So the first step we need to understand to become unbothered, to live unbothered. Oh, by the way, if you're more interested in watching this podcast rather than listening, I've been putting out all the videos, full content on YouTube, so you can check it out there. All the links are in the bio. Okay. The first step of living unbothered is to simply understand a law we have talked about before, but the law of rhythm. We have talked about the law of rhythm before, but in case you've never heard this podcast, or you need a refresher, or you're just thinking, CC, what are you talking about? The law of rhythm basically states that everything has its cycles. Things are cyclical. We have seasons, just like nature does. Let me ask you, what would allow you to feel less bothered? Trying to pause summer and fast forward winter, slow down fall and skip spring, or would it be less bothersome to just live within each season and allow them to fold for you? A lot of us feeling bothered is simply us trying to pause and change cycles that are naturally trying to unfold in our life. A big reason we're so fucking bothered has nothing to do with what other people are doing, but it has everything to do with what we're trying to control. Your new life, your new identity, the new energy, it's going to cost you the old one. It's going to cost you your controlling behavior. Now, you're listening to a Capricorn right now. So if you think I don't know how annoying it can be to reel in the controlling nature, I understand. But I've been on both sides. And let me just tell you right now, right here, trying to control the seasons, the cycles of your life is going to cause you to be bothered a lot of the time. It's going to cause you to be a lot more bothered than you would be if you allowed what needs to come in and allow what needs to leave. If it's fragile, let it fucking break. And if it wants to be in your life, let it come in. When we, instead of trying to control the seasons, the cycles, the people, we just allow them to be, we're a lot less bothered. We're a lot less bothered. Now, there's a fine line between doing nothing and trying to control every single thing in your life. I'm not saying sit back, hope that the good things fall from the sky. I'm not saying that. Show up for yourself, put yourself on the pedestal, do the necessary work you need to do. There is a middle way that comes in between of doing absolutely nothing and controlling absolutely everything. You know what I'm talking about. Let's go there. I'm not saying sit on your little tush and watch the housewives every single day and do absolutely nothing. No, but I'm also saying do not try to control every single thing. Find the middle way where you're showing up for yourself. You're doing things that are healthy for you. You're having fun. You're living life. You're allowing what wants to come in. You're allowing what wants to leave. You're doing the work. There's a middle way. Let's go there. And I also think it's important to say, sometimes I miss relationships that were unhealthy for me, but I miss the people. I miss the fun I used to have with them. They're not necessarily the best people for me. So it's okay that I miss them, but it's not necessarily okay for me to let them back in my life. Because I think a lot of us will think back to older cycles and will think, I miss them so much, that must mean that they should cycle back into my life. That doesn't always mean that. You can miss someone, hell, you can love someone and know they shouldn't be in your life. That's just a little reminder for us who want to control cycles and think that missing someone is a good enough excuse for them to come back into our life. Okay? Hear me when I say that, okay? Missing someone is not a good enough reason for them to come back into your life. It's okay to miss older seasons. It's okay to miss older cycles. It's okay to look at them. But that's not a good enough reason to bring that person or that cycle or that behavior back into our life once again. So yes, our new life is going to cost us our old one. Our new energy is going to cost us our older behaviors. The first step of living unbothered is letting up some of that control, is letting the seasons unfold for you rather than you trying to unfold every single season. I just feel that also totally takes out the element of surprise. How boring is it to control fucking everything? How stressful, how bothersome. There's no better feeling than going to the airport with your boyfriend and having him do absolutely everything. I've never felt a better feeling in my life. It's like I get to just exist and show up and my BF does it all. I love traveling with my partner because literally I don't have to do anything but show up. Imagine that, but showing up like that every single day for your own life. Imagine that. I love being a princess passenger where I don't have to drive. I get to just chill. I get to pick the podcast. I get to pick the song. Imagine that, but you get to do that every single day of your life. Baby girl, you can just show up without controlling everything. And I'm like smashing this table because I want you to hear me all the way in the back. You're allowed to be the passenger princess for your own life, where you get to pick the songs and pick the podcast, and you get to have a little snack and do what you want to do without having to control everything. And it feels so much better. Can I get an amen? Amen. Period. You can show up without trying to control everything. And I know it takes practice. It takes practice not controlling everything, but you can do it. It's possible. It doesn't even have to be easy. All it needs to be is possible and doable. And yes, it is. Okay? So the first step of living unbothered is to stop bothering yourself with trying to fucking control everything. Because let me just tell you right now, right here, I tried so hard to keep certain people in my life. I fought for our relationship. I put them on a pedestal. I begged them to love me. And what happened? They left anyway. There's nothing you can do to make someone stay in your life, okay? Especially when they're meant to leave. There's nothing you can do. There's no highest of high pedestals you can put someone else on to make them stay. Loosen up on the reins, because all you're doing is causing yourself discomfort. If they're going to leave, they're going to leave, and there's nothing you can do about it. That is just truth right there. If they're meant to cycle out, they're going to cycle out. Let them go. Because you can really make yourself tired, really bother yourself trying to get them to stay in, but they're going to go anyway. Why? Because someone better is coming in. Or maybe they need to do some work on themselves and they'll come back later. That happened to me. Me and my partner had to go separate ways. I begged, I cried, I pleaded with him to stay. It didn't matter, because fighting against water doesn't do anything. If it's meant to cycle out, it's going to cycle out. And ultimately, when I just let the water flow, he came back into my life and then we started dating again. It doesn't mean you're never going to be with this person or they will never come back. It means for this current season, you need to refocus. And trying to connect all the dots is such a fucking headache. Forget about that. Just try to focus on what's in front of you right now, right here. There's no amount of crying, begging, pleading you can do to fight against a season that's on its way out. Hear me when I say there's no amount of fighting, pleading, begging you can do to a season, to a person that's cycling its way out of your life. Let it go, because something better is trying to come in and you're getting in your own fucking way. So stop it. I love you positive bitches so much. Okay, step 2. How do we become unbothered? We just get really fucking hot. Now let's talk about what this actually means. I do literally mean we get really fucking hot. When I hated my body and hated myself and hated my whole entire mental way of thinking about things, my mentality, my psychological way of being, when I felt ugly on the inside and the outside, I was bothered by everything. I would be really triggered really easily. So how do we become unbothered? Step 2, we get hot. Mentally, energetically, psychologically, and physically. I care a lot less what people have to say to me now, because I actually like the way I look. I actually like the way I think. I actually like the way I behave. I actually like the content I put out. Think about it like this. If you were making a video on TikTok and you were not proud of it and you were embarrassed of it and someone put a mean comment on it, you're going to feel that a lot deeper than if you made a video you loved so much. That's just how the cookie crumbles. When you show up and you're proud of the work you've been putting into your mind, into your body, into your craft, you care less what other people have to say. When do we value other people's opinion the most? When we're the most miserable and need outside sources of validation. But when you're validating yourself, you don't need to hear everyone else's opinion. And that's coming from someone who used to have highly codependent tendencies to someone who's now very confident in themselves. So, how do we become unbothered? Start taking care of yourself more rather than taking care of all these other people who probably don't even deserve it. Do the self-care. Invest in this skincare, this cream, whatever it may be. You have one body. You have one body, okay? Invest in this body. Take a walk. Do yoga, get a hula hoop, do a stretch, go for a run, pick up a weight. The hotter you become emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, the less you care about what other people have to say because you feel good in your own skin. But when you're walking around and you feel like an ugly little duckling inside and outside, it doesn't really matter, you're gonna care what other people have to say. Becoming hot also means finding something that you love, because you become really hot when you're plugged in and tuned in and turned on to something that you're really passionate about. It doesn't matter what someone actually looks like. When you see someone really passionate about what they're doing, they're just hotter. That's just the way it is, because you see them turned on. You see their energy plugged in. If you want to become hot, find something that you love to do and start doing it. And honestly, put a mirror up or record yourself doing the thing you love, and you're going to be like, whoa, I look really good. I look really tuned in, turned on, plugged in. And that's attractive to people, because when you're doing something you love, you put yourself on the pedestal and it's you, and that makes you magnetic. You're not seeking anything outside of yourself because you are solely focused in on the present moment. So becoming hot doesn't just mean physically, and it doesn't just mean doing something you love. It's doing all of the things. When I lost all those friendships years ago, I lost like 7 or 6 friends at once, whatever it may be. And I don't even like to say I lost. Really, I let go of friendships that were cycling out, and I allowed in a bunch of blessings. When I went through that cycle of transition, I focused so much more of my attention on working out, on making TikTok videos, something I love to do, on really getting interested in health. And yeah, of course I became hotter mentally, physically, emotionally, all of that jazz, because I had more time to focus on me rather than just sitting on the couch with those friends and eating chips and eating gluten, which would upset my tummy and give me eczema on my elbows. I was taking care of myself. I'm telling you, when you level up mentally, spiritually, and physically, you care less what other people have to say about you. Now, don't just level up physically and don't just level up mentally. Pair them together, because really, if you want to really become hot, becoming hot is a triple threat to me, because it's not just physical, it's emotional and spiritual. When you do that, oh, girl, you are in a whole new league, okay? Period. When you level up spiritually, emotionally / psychologically, we'll say, and physically, that's hot. That is hot. Doing the work, full 360, that's hot. Not only will you have something to focus on and become present with, but you'll also be doing something that betters you. And I don't know about you, but I feel better now than I did when I hated myself and my body. I feel better now that I learned about codependency and healed that than I did when I was just straight up suffering. I feel better now that I meditate. Hot girls meditate, okay? I feel better now that I'm meditating than I did when I was just screaming at God every day. I mean, hello. And sometimes I still scream at God. But seriously, it makes a difference. I'm less bothered because I don't get my validation out there. I get it from myself. I get it from finding a strain that serves me, from working out, from knowing I can do hard things, from putting that attention onto myself, from giving myself that skincare, that spa night, by allowing myself to receive a massage. That is how I pump myself up. So the first step of living unbothered is understanding the law of rhythm. The second is be hot, okay? The third, now we're really getting into it, okay? The next two are like my faves. The third is seeing people and situations from a higher perspective. Now let's get into a little story time about what was happening to me this past couple of weeks, days, weekends. So I had someone, and they're very close. Can I? No, we're not very well. Okay, I guess we're kind of close. They're a blood relative. Let's put it that way, okay? And they're interesting. They're an interesting person. I think back to my soul committing to a contract with their soul, and I was like, funny. That is a funny thing for you to do during this incarnation, Cece. Anyway, so this person at dinner started to come for my looks. I know, me? Who are you? they started to say something negative towards how I looked. And my mom was there, and my dad was there, and my partner was there. And they just kept trying to throw digs at me. And first of all, how did I become unbothered by this? I see them as a little child having a temper tantrum in their big adult body. And I honestly just feel bad for them that somewhere along the way they didn't get hugged enough. And I'm like, damn, you're really down that bad. And so seeing it from a higher perspective helps me become unbothered, because it's no longer, oh, this person is just trying to fight me or be mean to me. In fact, I don't think it's about me at all. I know it's about them. Their projection is their fucking problem. And I'm going to sit back and eat my Brussels sprouts like the queen that I am. So I'm looking at them and I just see them as their inner child, just screaming and crying for hugs and love. And then I also feel that this is not physical at all. This has nothing to do with my appearance. This is psychological motherfucking warfare. And let me just tell you something about myself, okay? My mom, since a very young age, has told me, Cece, you know something about you? You were bred for literally for psychological warfare. Okay, bitch, you are ready to go at all times. And she's not lying. Before I was even born, I was fighting for my life. My mother's doctor tried to convince her to have a DNC to kill me. Thanks. Not thanks. She's also now my doctor. It's kind of awkward. I'm like, hey, remember that time when you tried cleaning out my mom's insides to kill me? LOL. But no, she thought my mom could have a negative outcome, and so she was trying to tell her that. But you know what? I don't know what her intentions are. But anyway, here I am. Hi, everyone. And I have literally felt like someone was trying to kill me before I was even born. And I was ready to do the fucking tango. I was like, devil, no, not today, Satan. I'm coming to planet Earth and I'm going to spread this light. And you will fucking bet your ass it's going to be a big light bang. And I'm going to help people on this planet. Anyway, so my mom was like, Cece, you're literally bred for this war. Okay, girl? And what I see a lot now is, yes, I see people as their inner child crying and screaming for help. But also, this is psychological warfare where I actually can sense that this person has an entity feeding on them. And it's not my blood relative who's attacking me. It's this negative entity that has a seed of jealousy, that it's psychological, spiritual warfare that is trying to attack my light. Because what loves the light? The fucking mosquitoes, the fucking gnats, the gnats, okay? And I will not have it. I will not have it. I will not stoop down to anyone's fucking low level. Misery loves company, and that's not the company that I keep. Okay, I stay high on my pedestal. And not only do I see this as an entity of jealousy, a seed of jealousy trying to eat away at my light, so I'm like, not going to happen. Not only do I see them as their inner child crying and screaming out for help, I straight up don't want to lower my energy to their disgustingly low vibration. No, thank you, sir. Come never again, because it's not happening. And literally, they were trying to attack my appearance, and I just kept saying, I literally don't care. I love myself. And then they tried saying something again, and I was like, yeah, no, I literally don't care. It's like this weirdest thing. I don't care. I just don't. I literally don't care. First of all, consider the source. Anytime someone critiques me, I consider the source. If it's someone coming at me with helpful critique, I consider that. If it's my therapist or it's one of my energy coaches, it's a shaman, even if it's my mom or dad sometimes, and they're not trying to fight me, but they're trying to help me, I consider the source. And if it's helpful critique, I'm going to take that in. I'm going to sit with that and I will reflect on that. But when I know it's a low level entity just trying to eat at my light, I'm not playing that game, because I own the fucking game. And this is my life. This is my game. And welcome to the world of Cece. And I'm so sorry, but I will level your energy up where the entity won't even be able to touch me. In my song, Angel Energy, what does it say? I got that angel energy. Can't touch me, and I'm not fucking playing. I'm not fucking kidding. You can't touch my energy. And my mom afterwards was like, Cece, I literally don't know how you did that. I am like, I don't know how you kept your composure. I don't know how you kept your energy. I was like, the thing is, I seriously don't. I wasn't just saying I don't care. I would say, you guys know I cry all the time, blah, blah, blah. I would say if I really cared, I don't care. I consider the source. It's someone who's in a low vibration, who's miserable with themselves. Why would I care what they have to say about me? They hate themselves more than I could ever hate them. In fact, I don't hate them. I don't care about them. I don't think anything of them. Literally nothing. Nothing. So the third step is seeing the situation from a higher perspective. The fourth step is responding from a higher perspective. And remember that line from Legally Blonde where she's like, what? Like it's hard when she got into Harvard? She's like, what? Like it's hard? And literally how I responded was, what? Like I'm supposed to care? Like, am I supposed to care what you think? Or I'm not kidding you. When someone insults you to your face, just be like, wait, what? Like I'm supposed to care? Or that's literally how I was responding. So it's seeing it from a higher perspective, but then interrupting the older programming, because I used to let this person really grind my gears, and I used to have to come back into my room and like do my sage. Now I'm like, let's fucking go. You can't take me down, baby. You can't take me down, because I would never stoop to that lower vibration. I don't live there. I live on a cloud, and it's cloud 9, and you've probably never been there, but I'm not coming down to meet you, okay? Okay, it's not my vibe. It's not my vibe, okay? So, yes, I see it from a higher perspective. I see it as an entity controlling that person, feeding on that person, trying to feed on me. And I'm like, not today, baby. This is designer. Okay, no, my energy is designer. And then I respond from a higher perspective. I'm not going to fight with this person like I used to. I'm not going to go at it with this person like I used to. Why? Because that would stoop me down to their low vibration, and I'm not about it. I'm about my own energy, and that's where I'm going to stay. That's where I want to be, okay? So I respond from a higher perspective, because we can either repeat the same pattern or what? Say it with me. We can evolve. And I choose to evolve. And now I think it's kind of funny. I'm like, wow, it's crazy. Oh, the other thing this person did was first of all, I'm super kind, obviously. So I made sure they got breakfast. I got them a bagel in the morning. Okay, well, my boyfriend got them a bagel, but I asked for their order and extended the invitation. And then I was like, okay, like we're all going to see this movie. Everyone go see The Sound of Freedom. I just saw it. It was amazing. I wish I could say I'm shocked. I'm not. It's very sad, but we need to understand what's actually going on in the world. And I don't watch the news, but The Sound of Freedom is definitely worth seeing. Go see it. It's playing in all theaters right now in the US. Anyway, so this person, I'm asking them, hey, do you want to come to this movie? And they're like, well, I'm not going to have a car at that time. So I was like, okay, so do you want to come? And they're like, well, I'm not going to have a car. And I was like, okay, so it's at this time. Would you be back at the house? Like, are you going to come with us or someone else? And they're like, are you dumb? That's a dumb question. And again, they just start trying to bring my vibration down. I'm like, oh, that's so cute that you're trying again. like I'm supposed to care? Oh, oh, I just see it as a cry for attention now, which, by the way, it is. Understand, people will do whatever they have to do in order to get connection, and sometimes people only know how to get connection through conflict. Keep that in mind. Anyway, so instead of me responding, I simply stopped answering their text messages. I was like, I'll just get them a ticket, and if they want to come, they can come. And if they don't have to come. And I literally don't give a flying vibrational fuck. And so, and by the way, if it was up to me, I wouldn't even have offered a ticket, but it was not up to me. It was a bigger group thing. And I really wanted to see this movie. So I was like, I can ignore them, okay? Because I need to see this movie. Anyway, so I get the door, and it happens to be them. And they're like, oh, by the way, like, I was just kidding about saying, like, you were dumb and, like, the question never, that was just a joke. And I was like, again, I was just like, oh, am I supposed to care? Or is that supposed to bother me? Or, and I just stare at them. Like, is that it? is that like, am I supposed to pay attention to that? And I literally said, I simply don't care. And I walked away. And that's the most powerful thing that you can do, is simply not fucking care. If you wouldn't want to be this person, don't listen to them. Period. I want none of what this person has. I don't want their life. I don't want their energy. I don't want their relationship. I don't want their job. I don't even want their body. I don't want anything. I want nothing that they have. So anything that they say is like, it's like a rock. It means nothing to me. In fact, a rock means more to me because that has better energy. Okay, so how do we live unbothered? We understand the law of rhythm. We understand it's okay to miss but not accept someone back. We understand step 2, be hot. Understand 3, see it from a higher perspective. 4, respond from a higher perspective. And 5 is what the Buddha said. So a lot of people think that the Buddha said that the root of all misery is desire. That was actually mistranslated. What the Buddha actually said was the root of all misery is trying to make what is something different. It's trying to change what's currently happening in front of you. A lot of what I have to do with certain family members is just simply surrender that I signed on to this path and they are part of this path and they're in my life for some energetic reason. Now, I will say if there's any abuse, you need to have boundaries. You need to get yourself safe and you need to get out of that situation. Okay? Anyway, the reason I bring up the Buddha is because a lot of what I've had to do, instead of trying to change blood relatives, instead of trying to change the people around me, change circumstance, is accept, which is like the law of rhythm. But then the second step is surrender. Surrender. Baby girl, I talk to God about my problems. I don't have time to gossip. I just bring it up to the man, the myth, the legend, God. I don't have time to gossip. I don't fucking care. But I will talk to God. I'll bring my worries to God. I'll tell him what's going on with me and I'll say, God, what's going on? What is this? What is this? What is the lesson? Give me the strength. Jesus, take the wheel. Yeah, that's what I do now. Because I'm not going to try to fight and change people or change scenarios. I am going to surrender and allow what needs to happen. Because in surrendering, I find it's much easier to focus on myself. In surrendering, it's much easier to take my power back. In surrendering and understanding this is just how my blood relative is for now. Of course, they can always change. Anyone can change. But I'm not going to try to change them. That's not my job. I just surrender to the moment and I keep things moving. Also, another part of surrendering is knowing it's not going to be like this forever. This also plays into the law of rhythm. I have to deal with this person right now, but I won't have to deal with them forever. There's just certain circumstances that causes me to deal with them right now. But these circumstances won't be forever. We have to remember that these temporary tough times are temporary tough times. They're temporary. They are not forever. You're not going to be miserable forever. It's not going to be this painful forever. Things are shifting. Things are changing, and they're changing for you. So we're understanding that us trying to change what is, trying to go against the grain, ignoring the cycles, a lot of the time, that is what causes us to be so bothered. If you want to be an asshole, baby, be an asshole, okay? I really don't care. But you're not going to bring my vibration down. I accept that you're an asshole if you're an asshole. That's fine with me. That's your business, not mine. I got my own things going on. I'm going to focus there. I'm going to focus on holding my own vibration. And a lot of the time, because I don't try to control other people, a lot of the time, this relative I'm talking about used to be, like I said, much, much worse to deal with. Now, because I stay in my vibration, they come up and they're like, by the way, I didn't actually mean that. Or by the way, they actually start. Both times they tried to insult me, including my appearance, they actually backtracked and were like, well, I didn't actually mean that. You know why they did that? You know why they backtracked instead of doubling down? Is because I held my vibration. Very important for you to understand. When you hold your vibration, the other person is forced to actually level up a bit. But when you let them take you down, both of you go down. So when surrendering, also understand you surrender to your own vibration and you don't let anyone take you down. And in surrendering to my own vibration and acknowledging, yeah, they're kind of just an asshole. What happens is instead of them bringing me down, I actually brought them up a little bit where they could say, actually, I'm just joking. Is it a full apology? No, but does that matter? No, because am I like supposed to care? I love you, positive bitches, so much. And as always, the sparkle in me honors the sparkle in you. I hope this podcast has brought you some light, some love, and some hope, especially some tools. If you enjoyed this podcast, post it on social media and tag me at Vibin with CC at That Bitch Is Positive. Don't forget to leave a positive review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It helps this podcast grow. And I love reading the beautiful words you have to say. I love you so much, and I will see you in the next one. Mwah.